right
I said
now.
I'm gonna do it. It's gonna take
Oh
us
my God, I
15
know what you're
minutes.
talking to on the wall here.
What?
Are you
A wall?
Yes,
Hey,
oh,
Walt.
you never deliver. Can you just go do it for me?
Wow.
Now?
Wow. How
Around
many
the
times
house.
have I done stuff for you
What?
and for us?
Then how come it's not done yet?
All right, guys, listen. We've been doing these sessions for a while now. And it seems like there's a wall that you guys have placed, and none of you is willing to break it down because you just don't want to see past each other's imperfections. But I want to tell you this, there's beauty in those imperfections if you just take the time to see it. So I'm going to ask you guys to do something for me. Take a little trip, maybe out of town, get to know each other.
Hi guys,
And
good,
hopefully
good
before our next session,
evening.
things
How are
might
you?
be different.
Derek, hi, it's good
All
to
I'm
see you.
asking is
I
that,
can always trust that Derek is gonna be there.
are you willing to try?
Fantastic. Good evening, guys. Natasha. It's good to see you, Natasha.
Imperfect.
Good to see you, Natasha. Hi, how are you? How has been your day, Natasha? Derek, how has been your day?
Yeah.
Evening, Kwangu.
Hit me with that imperfect smile. Once I heard
How
that
has been your day?
imperfect laugh. Got me with those imperfect
Saulus.
eyes.
Hi,
I
Saulus.
fell in love.
Good to see you too.
Love
Fantastic.
is a beautiful thing. Love isn't everything.
Natasha, take that song.
Even a diamond ring. Or
Hi,
even a
Miriam.
coffee stain. Love makes us do crazy things.
I like the song. Tell me, Natasha. Tell me, Miriam, do you like the song?
The beating of angel wings.
It just bless you with your phone. You have been bad.
So if you choose
Wow.
to see,
Natasha wants your phone. Jessica Nandi. Hi, Jessica. How are you? How has been your day? Jessica Wang has been great. Getting better. Oh, fantastic. That's nice to hear.
with that imperfect smile.
Natasha loved the song. My day has been fantastic. Fantastic, Miriam. Being tired. Oliver. Hi, Oliver. It's good to see you.
Once I heard that imperfect laugh, got me with those imperfect eyes. I fell in love with imperfect you.
You want to fast?
Or maybe I'm insane.
That will be a long fast.
I just stay.
Lakshi Salamu. Hi, Lakshi. It's good to have you.
Makes me love with imperfect being.
It's always nice to have you, friends. I'm always excited to have you. I'm always blessed to have an audience like you.
But something about you
Always make a lot of sense. I appreciate you coming through. Every single time you come through, I'm very grateful.
is an endless river.
So I want to share with you something,
Love can
and
calm the weather.
I'll ask you a question at the end.
Love can walk on water.
Oh, what's the song title? The song title is Imperfect. Ebo Chum.
Have no color.
We are all imperfect, we make mistakes.
Holds us all.
We have to see past each other's imperfections.
Love
That's the
is
song.
not a breaker.
Right, fantastic.
Love's always a giver.
Evening, Precious.
So
Hi.
if you choose to
Good to
stay,
have you here, Precious.
then I know you believe.
Right, fantastic.
Feeling in perfect peace. Is this
All right.
Hit me with that imperfect smile. Once I
So
heard that
the story
imperfect
I want to share with you guys is one that really I'll share the story, and then I'm going to ask you a question at the end, and then you tell me what to think. So some time back, all of us have a stage in life where things are just complicated. You don't know what to do. I was at a point in my life when food had no taste. You would eat food, and then there's no taste for the food. You don't get that taste, right? Things were bad. I was getting a lot of stress, and business is crashing, and everything just not making sense. And I'm questioning myself, I've been praying for a long time to God for a job and it's not working. What is wrong? At least I've got this qualification, and I thought when I get my qualification, I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna get a job, but I'm not getting a job, and things are so bad. So one Thursday afternoon, I received a phone call from a company. So I pick up the phone call. They say, "Hi, this is Chadwick." Say, "Yes, it's me." So we are calling you from a company so and so. I am the human resource manager. No, you've been shortlisted for an interview. Guys, I jumped. I was very happy just to receive a phone call from a company. It was actually the first time that I received a phone call from a company that have been shortlisted for an interview. When you've graduated from school, you want to get a job. You want to help your mom. You want to help your dad. If you have a dad, you want to help your sister, your brother, and everybody else around you. But when you can't get a job to help anybody or to help yourself, it stresses. Being jobless is very painful. Sometimes you feel like you're not very much normal. Sometimes you are just wondering, what is wrong with me? You apply, nobody's calls you for any interview. You try this, nobody's doing anything, and it's just sad. So now this phone call lightens up my day. I'm excited. What do I do? I didn't have money, and for me, I think I've always been authentic. When I'm going for an interview, I always go in my old clothing. I don't buy new clothing for an interview because it's deceiving people interviewing you. So what do? I get into my old clothing. They told me come for interviews. So what do? I go for a particular interview. Wow. They told me that I should be there by 10 hours. So what do? I get there before that. And when I get this particular company, I'm hopeful, I'm clean. I didn't have nice clothing, but I was clean. I was presentable. I get to the company. Guess who I found, guys? I found that the panel had 4 people. All right. And out of those 4 people on the panel, 2 of them were my students. I've never shared this story publicly, but I've been able to share in my Telegram group for the people that we mentor. So 2 of the 4 people on the panel were my students. From financial reporting. Because when I was in school, I could survive on tuitions. I would teach my people. So my friends would recommend me to their friends, my classmates, and stuff like that. So I was getting started with the tuition business. So I had a few students, and these 2 guys were among those students I had in financial reporting. So I walk into the interview room, and I'm shocked. I'm seeing 2 of my students on the panel. And then there was the human resource and the other gentleman. So, wow, guys, I feel good. They say, wow, this is my job. I'm excited because I've found 2 of my students on the interview panel, and there are 4 people. So all I have to impress is one of those 2 to get a third of the votes. So I'm happy about it. Okay, fine. So the human resource was very nice man. He tells me, okay, fine, I'm Mr. So-and-so. This is Mr. Wu. These are the people from the accounting department. They are here to help us with the questions because some of the questions we'll be asking you will be relating to accounting. So these are accountants. They'll be telling us whether you're okay or not. And then there are some questionnaires. When they ask you a question, you answer that particular question, they tick somewhere. So they asked me questions about taxation. How do you account for tax? They asked me questions about repatriation, accounting for gratuity. And then we dealt with taxations. We went to ethics. We talked about the ethics. They talked about me, a bit what I've achieved and stuff like that. And it was very sincere. The human resource was such a very nice man. It was a conversation that we had. And then the finance department guys, they were asking me questions about statements of cash flows, things I teach them in school, things I lecture those guys. They were now asking me about cash flows, and I'm explaining to them about cash flows. I'm excited, I'm happy because it's easy for me. I lecture financial reporting, and I'm being asked questions from that. I'm comfortable, I'm happy. So I'm answering questions. When the human resource asks me, then he looks at the guys from the finance department, he says, what do you think? They say, it's okay, next question, just like that. So it was a very nice conversation, They did an assessment, they asked me whether I had some questions for them and stuff like that. So the interview went extremely well. When I answer something, the guys would write something. So now, Along the interview, the human resource was so impressed that he tells me, you know what? We are actually looking for a finance manager. So, you're doing very well. And we have a gap in the finance department. So, looking at your experience and your qualification, because you have this qualification, and those were my students who are not yet done, so they couldn't apply for finance manager because there was two students. All right, so there's no way they could get in that position. Now the human resources not, you've done very well, and would like to consider you for finance manager. So I was excited, I'm saying this is answered prayer. I'm excited. Thank you, God. I'm feeling good. When the interview is going well, there's a way you feel. You can tell this is my job. And leaving my house, I was talking to myself, saying, I'm getting this job. No one has ever called me for an interview. This is the first call I'm receiving. I'm getting this job. So now the interview was over. Okay, thank you. So I did not mention anything to the human resource that those two guys were my students. I was just quiet. So the man was so impressed that when leaving, he said, "Can I, accompany you outside?" So he saw me out. He told me, "You've done very well. We're very impressed. So far, this is the first time we interviewed somebody who's done so well, who knows so much. We are very much happy with you." And it tells me point blank. So just prepare yourself. You report on Monday. Guys, I was excited just like that. And he tells me the HR, we are very much happy with you. We won't even waste time. We report on a Monday. So what we'll do is simply do everything official, send for you an email, and then we are going to look at the email. We'll put everything, the letter and something. Okay, fine. No, we talked about the salary that they wanted to pay me. And no, we agreed on the salary. The salary, they agreed my terms, and I was ready because I was desperate. So I was willing to accept an amount of money. And they told me this amount. I negotiated a little bit, just not to look like I'm completely nothing. So I negotiated very well for a salary, because if there's one thing I don't mess up in any interview I've ever been to is a salary. That one I don't mess up. If you don't negotiate for a salary the first day, it will be hard to have it increased. So I did an amazing job with the salary, and it was nice. And he escorts me. We get to the gate. I was walking nakabrasho mutumba, everything's nice. The man goes back. What do I do? It was on a Thursday. So what do? I get back home. I had my Salaula business running. I get home. I'm very excited. What do? I rush in town. I had some school bags. I give some of them at a cheaper price. I rush to Invest Trust Bank, just in Freedom Way. There are guys who sell suits. So what do? I go and buy a suit for 200 kwacha. Buy a suit, get myself a nice shirt, all right, for 50 to my shirts. I said, now I have a job. So I'm now excited. Yes, I can have a job. I'll be getting paid. Answer the prayer. So I get home, I iron the suit and stuff like that, just to look presentable. I'm now prepared for the job. I slept feeling so good that night. I woke up in the morning on a Friday. I was very excited. I'm just singing songs of praise. I'm excited. On a Saturday, I was just looking forward to Monday. On my Monday, I'm saying, wow, this is fantastic. I now have a job. And this call happened at a time when I was just kicked out of my house by my landlord because I couldn't pay rentals. And then about a month or so later, I received a phone call. So now I was excited. The burden has been lifted. I was kicked out of the house because I couldn't afford the rent. Now at least I have a job to pay my rent. So I'm happy. Sunday, I'm very excited. Monday morning, now, there's always a feeling when something is not right. Monday morning, I was prepared. I woke up very early. The guy I had employed to be found at my stand. There's a guy I'd employed to be taking care of my Saraola business in City Market. I said, fine, this is the guy I work with. So I didn't know what, I'm not going to come on a Monday. So on Monday, you'll be alone. I used to work with this guy even before I received the phone call. So I said, okay, Monday will be alone. I won't be there. Okay, fine. Monday, 8 hours, 9 hours. No, I'm just waiting for the email because he told me they will send for me an email. So that, so no, I'm waiting for an email. The email is not coming. No, I started having that feeling. There's a feeling when something is not right, and most people feel it, but they ignore it. I felt that feeling. Something is not right. 10 hours, nothing, no message, no call, no email. What do I do? Because the man was so impressed with me. He gave me a phone number. He gave me his phone number. So I call him. And he tells me, "Okay, let me call you back in a bit." I'm surprised. Call you back in a bit? He told me I'll report on a Monday. Okay, fine. Let me wait. Let me wait for a bit. So I'm waiting. A few minutes later, the man calls me back. And he told me in so many ways that no, I'm very sorry. The interview did not go through. I'm actually shocked because I thought everybody was happy with you, and I was happy with you because you passed my questions. So the man tells me, he didn't even go around the circles. He tells me, I thought you did well. And unfortunately, it seems, the interview did not go through. Because he also told me, what, I feel bad because for me, I thought you had done well, and the accounting department guys were happy with you as well. Now, I was wondering, this man is happy with me. The accounting department, those two guys were happy with me. And there was this other gentleman who also was very engaging, was very welcoming, and was also, he seemed to be very much happy with me. We conversed, even we cracked some jokes. It was nice. It was a very good interview. So, who made me fail the interview? What do you think, guys? So now I'm thinking, who made me fail the interview? The human resource tells me he was very much happy with me, and he's telling me he's shocked that I did not pass because he felt that the people from the finance department were happy. That's why he told me that they can report on a Monday. But now that they told him something else, he was surprised. So even me, I'm surprised. I'm thinking, these two people from the accounting department are my students. I lecture these guys. And these people, they know how I live life. They know that I'm struggling a lot. How can they do something like this to me? I went home that night. I cried. I cried a lot that night. I felt betrayed. I lost my appetite. I even used the 200 square to buy a suit at Invest Trust. And I used some few hundred quarters to buy some tomashets, and I owned them to prepare for having something to wear for a job. And now I've failed the interview. And I'm thinking, what went wrong? They asked me financial reporting. I left financial reporting. I answered. They asked me tax. I do tax. I'm a tax genius. But why have I failed this interview? Guys, I went at home that night and I cried in the night. I couldn't sleep very well that night. I felt so bad. I bought a jacket. I could have put that money to buy a new bell for my school bags and my salaula. But I spent that money buying a new suit at Invest Trust from those guys those who sell from whatever vocal from there, and I also bought some shirts. And now I've touched my capital to buy clothes. I wasn't buying clothes because I didn't have capital to buy clothes. I got home and I had bought a bread because I used to eat one bread for 4 days. I looked at my bread. My bread looked at me. And then we both cried. I didn't eat that night. I felt betrayed. And I was saying, I'm suffering a lot. These guys know my situation. They know I'm surviving just on tuitions and stuff like that. And how can they make me feel? And it became more clear to me that these guys made me feel, nobody else. The fact that the HR mentioned that he was happy with me and they would consider me for finance manager, those guys wanted that position. So when I did so well, the HR decided to say, you know what? We don't even want to waste time. We're happy with you. We'll consider for the finance manager position because we have a gap in the finance department. And those guys couldn't be promoted because there were 2 students. So, all right. Yeah, in the morning, I sober up in the morning. I get back to City Market. And I thought the guy I was working with, you know what, I've gotten a job. God has answered my prayers. I was very much happy. They saw me. I go back. They saw me. I went back. They asked me, Papa, no, when I say, and I explained to my, even my neighbor, I told him, you know what? Leti mwezi huwa pamabagi pamanda apa ade chako muna ko just that ningo sanga ko kachitoko basa wadafema guys na sana durida pa na ka jacket ka new. So then now, because my neighbor also into I was also saying, when they see my situation, he was having some financial problems. So ngana muchura bonsra ukatana kai she invested na comfort. So my neighbor sees me, how for yes, I said, no, it's not like that. I didn't get a job. I explained to him, I felt so bad. So now I was asking, why did I fail the interview? Why do you think I failed the interview? A week later, those guys dropped from my class. They never came, both of them. They never came from my class to my class. After some time, the other guy came, showed up one time, and he tells me, "No, I know, sir. I think the guy was just jealous. He didn't know what to jealous." I said, No. I failed the interview. There was no jealous. Don't talk about your friend. If one person was jealous of me, those two people were happy with me, I could have passed the interview. But because those guys from the finance department, they just kept amongst them. So this for this guy. So that's how I felt the interview. I said, no, I have nothing against you. Don't worry, I'm okay. I'll still continue. Now imagine you're lecturing somebody who you know made you fail the interview, and every day I have to look at his face. He's my student. Both of them are my students. I have to look at their faces every single time. Fortunately, the other one never showed up. Then that other one showed up. After some days, he also dropped. He stopped coming to my class. Otherwise, he was feeling guilty. So I was expecting those guys to feel sorry for me. Not that I wanted them to give me favors, but I wanted them to treat me fairly, because the interview was so easy. They asked me things. They're the ones who are interviewing me for the things I teach them. The interview was so easy. So there's something I came to learn there. Just because you are poor does not mean people should do favors for you. Unfortunately, the real world does not work like that. Sometimes you may have done the best that you could, and still life does not give you a happy ending. Guys, I prepared for this interview because I knew it was going to change my life. I prepared very well. I was ready for this interview. I studied the company. I spent the whole Saturday studying the company, checking their new projects, what they do. That's why even the human resource was so impressed, because I looked at their company for the whole day, studying their company, what they do, the employees they have, the salary ranges. I did a fantastic job. And still life didn't give me a happy ending. So I was saying, no, even if you are broke, you are poor, don't expect people to do favors for you. Yours is only to give God something to bless. You may not really know where God will bless you from. Like I didn't know where God was going to bless me from. All I did was just try my best to see if it's going to work out. And it did not work out. So now, I want you to tell me, guys, I'll be looking at the question, the answers here. You tell me, because for me, I prayed that they were going for that interview. When I received the phone call, I prayed. Going for that interview, I prayed. When I came back, I kept praying. I was very happy. What made me fail the interview? That's the question I have for you. What made me fail the interview? And I'm giving the best answer. I'll give you a 200 kwacha right now. I'll give the best answer a 200 kwacha right now. So let me check some comments. Now what you do, what made me, it is easier for me to see your comment when there's a hashtag, okay? Just attach an hashtag to your comment so that I can see it fast. Attach our hashtag. You know, any of our hashtags, there's greatness, any of our hashtag, all right? Or you can attach this other hashtag, this one here on my sheet. So any hashtag you're going to attach, I will say it quickly, because that's how the system works. So tell me, I'm giving a 200 kwacha to anybody who will tell me why I failed that interview. right now. So I've put the hashtag there. So let's see. Let's start with Natasha. Natasha says your two students were very jealous because they wanted your position. Fantastic. Okay, that's Natasha's answer. What did I feel of the interview? Nyawana says definitely two students. Okay. Sinyama, okay, fine. Let's go to Kumoyo. To Kayombo. Kayombo says your two students were very jealous because, okay, fine, that's Natasha. Let's go to Stella. Stella said it's because those guys from the financial department know how great she will become after getting the job. Jealous was too much. All right, let's see. Okay, let's go. Tell me a 200 kwacha to any best answer. 200 kwacha. Why I felt the interview. Very true. Just because you are poor doesn't mean people will give you favors. Yes, just because you are poor does not mean people give you favors. You have to take responsibility of your life and take the necessary step to change your life. I had people who knew my situation, but they still failed the interview. Why did I fail the interview? That's the answer I wanted to give me. And I'm sending it on the squatter right now to anybody who give me the answer that is it's definitely those two students because the two students were jealous of you. They wanted your position. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's go. Let's see. Change of heart. Okay, still your two students. Okay, fine. There's the hashtag. The HR was impressed. Okay, fantastic. So let's go to Olipa. Olipa says you were relaxed because you thought you are above the people you found. All right, fantastic. Olipa says I was relaxed because I thought I was above the people I found. All right, but I didn't think I was above the people I found. Unfortunately, Olipa, I didn't think like that. I was excited that, you know what, I found some people I know, but I didn't think I was above them. I never thought anything like that. Okay, so the two students made you fail the interview. Okay, fine. Let's go to Evans. Evans says the reason why you failed is because God had big plans for you. If you were gotten that job, you wouldn't have been where you are now. Yes, that's the answer I was looking for. That's the answer I was looking for. This is the guy for the 200,000, for the 200, because he's the man. Inbox me Evans, okay? And I'll do a 200 kwacha. But I still have something for somebody. Let's go and see here. That's one. Let's see if we can get another one. So we have one. That's Evans. Okay. That's one of the answers. So there are two answers, and this is one of the answers. Let's get another answer. And I strongly believe that if I had gotten that job, I probably could have been very poor today. I strongly believe that because that job wouldn't have paid me what my business pays me today. So I cried a lot and I said, God, why? I cried and I questioned, I asked God, what is wrong with me? What is going on? I have everything they wanted. The experience they wanted, I have it, everything. But why did I fail? And there are two people who know me, my two students. And I came to think that, you know what, Evans has sent me, oh, fantastic, Evans. I've seen your message, so immediately I'll be able to send for you a 200. Let's see if you can also give someone else another one to get a chance to get a 200 kwacha. Let's see. Sometimes God, as the way He blesses you, you should not decide for God how He should bless you. So for me, I wanted God to bless me with a job. All right. That's why I was focusing on. I was focusing on a job. I need a job. On my mind, it was just a job. I did not see other ways God can bless me. You know, your life can change with just a text message. One text message and your life changes just like that. One message. And I hope you receive that text this year. Your life can change with a single phone call and everything changes. A single email can change your life, your entire life. So God has a way of blessing us. This is why it is not good for us to stop working. Imagine if I had gone home and I said, you know what, I've stopped applying for jobs. I can't get a job. This job is not for me. I think let me just quit. Or maybe I became depressed because I cried. Honestly, I cried. I felt betrayed by my students. And I cried. But afterwards, I look back and I say, I think God had a plan for me. He knew that it was not right. It was not the time for me to get that job. That job could have just maybe put me down. Yes, those guys were jealous. But I strongly believe God had a bigger plan, because just after those guys rejected me, they made me for the interview. A few months later, I started seeing some real changes in my life. And things just changed and were changing. And I can tell you something, guys. No matter how many people are using juju against you, it will never work. If God is blessing you, no uncle, aunt, or witchcraft, whatever it is, who can take God's blessings away from you. We all have people who want us to fail. Everyone has somebody who does not want them to succeed. We all have that person. It could be a relative you lived with, or an uncle you lived with, or your auntie's husband who is just a witch, or whatever it is. It could be anybody you lived with, or maybe just some people just don't like what to do. They can do whatever they do, they say it didn't work, because God is blessing you. God is greater than all these other people. So when you give God something to bless, God has a way of blessing you. That's why I love that scripture from Ecclesiastes. And I've read it several times here, and I'll just read it again. Don't get out of this scripture, guys, because it made me see things from a different sense. Let me just read it for you again. Maybe somebody today might be helped, all right? So that we can also give someone else a chance to get the 200. We have one already. Let's look for another one. Let me just read the scripture for you. It's a nice scripture. And, you know, I have read it several times. It's one of my favorite scriptures. It's from the book of Ecclesiastes, okay? So let me just go to Ecclesiastes and read for you this scripture, just in case. Ecclesiastes chapter 11, now verses 5. This is what it says. It says, just as you do not know how the spirit operates in the bones of the child inside a pregnant woman, so you do not know the work of the true God, who does all things. Sow your seed in the morning, and do not let your hand rest until the evening, for you do not know which will have success, whether this one or that one, or whether they will both do well. Guys, isn't that beautiful? So God tells us that, you know what? Do your job. The same way you do not know how the spirit operates in the bones of the child inside a pregnant woman, so you do not know the work of the true God, who does all things. Your job is to give God something to bless. Sow your seed in the morning, and do not let your hand rest until the evening. Don't be lazy. Even if this one does not work, don't be lazy. Keep working, keep trying things, for you do not know which will have success, whether this one or that one, or whether they will both do well. That's God telling us that. So when you give God something to bless, you try this is not working. Try that. Feel free to look the other way if what you are currently doing is not working. What is bad is you going to church, to some overnight, and then you say, I receive. What are you receiving? What have you done? What have you given God to bless? Because God says, and then you say, I receive. What have you received? You want God to bless you because you've just prayed. You've not done any work. No. God does not encourage laziness. So God can bless you in two different ways. For example, I went for a job interview. I was prepared, it didn't work. But God came to bless me from where I didn't even expect. Have you seen? So God has a way of blessing all of us differently. All right? So I did not get that job. And as I share the thoughts for Evans, I strongly believe that God just helped me not to go backwards again. I think losing that job was a turning point in my life. I realized people will not feel sorry for me simply because I'm poor. Nobody will do favors for me because I'm poor. If people that I know, people that see me suffer, people that knew I had one shirt, and people who saw me wear the same shirt did not give me a job, then I just have to do it on my own and just work and pray to God to bless my efforts. I'm not going to decide for God how to bless me. If I decided for God how to bless me, if I got that job, maybe I could have been stuck in life by now. I could have been someone in a small office with a small aircon and a small jacket and a tie. When other people are making money outside, things are happening outside. I'm locked up. I would have been locked up somewhere. So sometimes when you fail, sometimes failure is a blessing in disguise because it helps you to look the other way. A relationship is not working, look the other way. Your business is not working, feel free to look the other way. If something is not working, know when to look the other way. Look the other way. So sometimes failure could be a good thing. Do I have something against those guys? No, I don't. But I was betrayed. And when this guy showed up in my class, and I'm explaining things, and I look at this guy, I have to look at his face, and I notice the guy that made me fail, and he knows I'm suffering. And it makes me fail the job interview. So I agree, Evans, I share your thoughts. So guys, my encouragement to you that when you fail, sometimes because God has something bigger for you. Can you write something there in the comments? Say, sometimes failure is a blessing in disguise. All right? Even when you fail, trust that God knows your hard work. He's going to bless you. It's not some hard-hearted being like human beings who will make you fail and then you. God will always reward hard work to his people. So it's important when you fail, have a good attitude, move forward. Yes, I felt bad. I cried. But I came to appreciate, you know what? It was a blessing in disguise. Because just a few months later, my status changed. And the money that they offered me, I now started making that money in weeks. So I could have been stuck in an office getting an amount I could make for myself in one day. Because sometimes today I'm going to make that salary in a day. Sometimes I make it in a day. The money they offered me there. So now I say, wow, God helped me. He saved me. Let's see another one. You failed the interview simply because those two students were jealous. Yes, they were jealous. Thought you do better than them. Yeah, that was part of the reason. It is because you were overqualified for the interview. And actually, I attended an interview where I was told that no, you're overqualified for the job. I attended an interview in Kafue, and I was told that I was overqualified for the job. It happened to me. Let's see someone else. Greatness. Sometimes failure comes because we celebrate beforehand. It would have been better for you to celebrate after receiving your first salary. Yeah, maybe it would have been better. Yeah, but you know when you are told you report on a Monday and you are broke, boy, you are happy, you're excited. Come on, man. You are broke, you have no job, somebody tells you report on a Monday. He told me, I didn't assume. The human resource told me I'll report on a Monday. So my celebration at the basis because I was told that I'll report on a Monday. Yeah. So yeah, something like that. Sharon, I see that. Greatness, to be honest, it wasn't your job. Yeah, it wasn't my job. Maybe if I got that job, I wouldn't have been where I am today. This is what Evans was saying. Because we are the ones, because they were the ones who made you fail the interview, and they were also in that position. But one thing you must know that God's time is the best. If it was your job, it could been you in that position, and they are also jealous of you, being because they knew that you will call them for help. Yeah, something like that. All right, so let's see. What Lakti says, you were overconfident, excited, because you found your students and you thought since they knew your situation poor, they will help you. Yes, I thought like that, Lakti. Honestly, I felt good. When I saw my students, I said, what? Wow, this is good. But again, when I was being asked questions, I did well. It's not like I felt any question they asked me. Any question I was asked, I nailed it because I knew exactly what they were asking me and how to do it. That's why even the human resource told me you're going to report on a Monday. Yeah, I was happy to see my students honestly because I thought I was going to be nice, but it turned out to be different. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and greatness, it's because we are overqualified for the interviewers. Yeah, I think something like that. So let's go. I think you didn't fail the interview. You actually passed, but you couldn't make it to the company because your qualifications were a threat to some judges, especially your students. Yeah, my students were very much, you know. The other reason is God has better plans. If first door closes, another one opens. Even opportunities, yeah, guys. When an opportunity slips through your hands, sometimes for the better. Sometimes for the better. When a door closes, another one opens. Like for example, when that opportunity was shut, I looked the other way and I said, you know what? Just because I'm poor, does not mean people should feel sorry for me. I have to do the work myself. I have to keep giving God something to bless. It's gonna work someday. And hey, baby, it worked someday. It works. It always works. So no matter what you do, give God something to bless. This is why you see we bring to this hashtag and say, for me, any points on. If you see the t-shirt says, awaken the greatness in you. Uh-oh. All right. I'm just being told I'm supposed to be in a meeting. I've forgotten. Can you believe that? Okay, I'm coming. Yeah. Apparently, I'm supposed to be logged in another meeting. Yeah. All right. Okay, fantastic. Okay, guys, thank you very much. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to check through the comments. I have to go. Let me send to Evans, and I'm going to check through the comments, and I'm going to post Stella. Okay, I'm going to check through the comments. I'm being told I'm logged in the meeting already. Okay, guys, let me go. Okay, thank you very much, guys, for joining me this evening. I hope that my story helps you to see something. I wish I could finish it, but I can't because there's a meeting somewhere I'm supposed to be logged on. Yeah. All right. So, okay, guys, have a good night. Let's send to Evans. Evans has sent for me a question, and I'm going to check through the comments quickly, and I'll pick another person. All right, guys, thank you very much. Have a good night. And not listen to a song like this one. And there's a song that you should listen to. It's nice. It's not the Bible, just a song.
And it seems like there's
Just a song.
a wall that you guys have placed in. But all I'm asking,
Yeah.
imperfect.
That's a nice song. There.
Yeah. Hit me with that. Once I heard that imperfect plan, got me with those imperfect eyes. I fell in love with you. Love is a beautiful thing. Love isn't everything. Even a diamond ring, or even a coffee stain. Love makes us do crazy things that'll make you cringe. The beating of angel wings, like you could do anything. So if you choose to see, I know you'll believe in a perfect beat. You will find perfect peace. Hit me with that imperfect smile. Once I heard that imperfect plan, copy with those imperfect eyes. I fell in love with imperfect you. Hit me with that imperfect smile. Once I heard that imperfect plan, copy with those imperfect eyes. I fell in love with imperfect you. Or maybe I'm insane. Or maybe stay, but something about you, babe, of an imperfect being. Maybe I'm insane, or maybe I'm just stay, but something about you, babe, makes me love an imperfect being. Love is an endless river. Love can calm the weather. Love can walk on water, or love can take you deeper. Love don't
have no color, and it holds us all together. Love is not a breaker, love's always a giver. So if you choose to see, then let